The date is August 20th, 1619.
20 Africans arrived at Port Comfort, which is present-day Port Monroe in Hampton, Virginia.
They were the first Africans on record to be forcibly settled as involuntary laborers in the North American British colonies. Your thoughts?
My thoughts of that day, I can only imagine the stress and the pain and the uncomfortness of being brought to somewhere where you're not familiar with anyone. You are obviously chained and caged and being treated as an animal instead of a human being. Um, I feel, just the point of it, I just feel so much pain and hurt when I think about that day. It saddens my heart to know that somebody would have to go through something such as that. Just thinking of that day alone. But as I move fast forward to today, and I think about the things that are happening today and the
Which
pain
is
that
400 years later.
yes, and the pain that I still feel, um, it just is a clear indication of how one's foundation can impact your life going forward. Because when you think about where we started 400 years later, and where we are today, we still deal with the hurt and the pain of being treated in the manner in which we came here. So it's just a clear understanding, and it's something that, unless you realize the value of that day and the hurt and pain that was there, you really don't understand where we are today and how it is that we can remove ourselves from the many tragic and the problems that we face as a grouping today of people.
Another date, January 10th, this time 2018. Our 45th president, President Donald Trump, established the 400 Years of African American History Commission for the purpose to develop and carry out activities to commemorate that 400 years. Your thoughts?
My initial thought, because I'm not a trusting person when it comes to that individual, and I feel as though his motives are not something that I feel I should be 100% comfortable for. So it's just that when I think of Donald Trump, number one, and the person and the history that he has provided with us, the first thing I think of is, all right, so what's going on here? Is the floor going to fall from under us if we actually do recognize and do what he hopes that we will do? But I also know that as people, we have overcome so many things, and I think that there are a lot of us who cannot be or will not be bamboozled, as one may say, by what he has done, and we will act accordingly and represent in a manner in which even he won't be able to say that it was a bad situation. I think that his motives probably were not to see us succeed and celebrate our lives in a manner in which we should or we will. I think that it was more of a situation where he's hoping that we illustrate and depict ourselves as the people in which he and others seem to think that we are or want us to be viewed as. I think that the successes that we've made over the past 400 years are something that people such as Mr. Trump don't see as valid successes and don't understand how we have continued to overcome the many obstacles that have been put in our way. And we still, as they say, we rise each and every day and go to another level, which is far exceeds his expectations. So I think that his motives may have been not as pure as one may hope they will be, but I think that will definitely put him in a different direction and give him something else to see.
So though he established the commission, you don't see him as the torchbearer.
No, I
carrying out the message.
I see it as I see it as an opportunity for him to put us in a light to fail, which is so important. It makes it so much more important that we succeed or we take this to another level, a level that's unexpected yet again. Like, we have to go beyond expectations and make this more than what somebody of his mind and his thinking puts us in. Because I actually, and just knowing, if you look at people, I don't look at, or hope that, oh my God, maybe he's going to do something wrong or something different. This is good intention. No, I look at him for what he really is. And his record shows that whatever he's doing is ill intended. It's not something that is for the better of us. It's because he has to put on a good face and say that he wants to do this. But at the same time, I think that he's hoping that we fail as a people, which would give him some clear understanding or put him on record for being correct. So we need to do what we have to do, which is to go above and beyond to educate and communicate to our people and make sure that they understand the full value of what 400 years means to us and what it should mean to them, and also understanding where we need to go from here. Because getting here is one thing, but going forward is something altogether different. Like, we are in a position now, we are knowledgeable, we are people who have different opportunities that we did not have, not 400 years ago, let alone 100 years ago. We are on a completely different plateau. As they say, there are levels to this. We're on a different level right now. And if we don't use our brains and our minds and our abilities to move forward, then we have a problem. We have a huge problem, because this is that either you're going to do it or you're going to die moment. Like, we need to move forward. We need to plan. We need to map this out, and we need to make use of our history and how we're going to move forward. So that's what I see that date for. The first date is painful. It just makes it hurts right here. But with all pain, you should get something positive out of it. You're supposed to grow from that hurt. You can put that hurt either into negative, or you could put it into positive. And what we've done, we've positively overcome so many things. So I think that we need to continue along that path.
So subsequent to his establishment of the commission, you were a part of the founding group for the 400-year coalition here in Philadelphia. Tell me what your vision and the mission for the coalition in your mind.
Well, the coalition, I have a two-part to everything. My mission in life, and I just was put in this position, so I'm really learning who I am and why I am. But my mission in life is to educate and communicate the African American and minorities communities, period. The commission and our role is going to go beyond, at least what I see, what we are today. We're going to start and we're going to educate people in the things that they really don't know. Because what I find is most of us, we really don't know the truth about how it is that we got here. We don't understand it. It's something that, for whatever it's worth, it's impacted us because we can't move forward because we don't know how we got here. Our children are not educated. They don't understand the sacrifices that were made for them to have the lives that they have. All they know is that they have all of these things, but they don't know that people died, people struggled, people were forced to pick cotton, to live, to do things that we see as degrading today. But they did them because there was nothing else that they could do. They did what they needed to do to move us beyond. And now that we're here, we're in this life now where we can go shopping, we can do all of these things. We have freedoms that we've never had, and we don't appreciate them. So I see our job, as number one, being an information place and telling these people for once and for all, like, this is the time. It's 400 years. This will never happen again. And the time to have a pivotal conversation is now. We all need to come together on some accord and say, this is what happened. This is where we are. Where are we going? So it's that time where you have an entire year to sit down and have several conversations, to build the history, and then to deal with the present, and then to plan for our future.
So speaking of the future, let's go to 2020, the year after the 400 year, the coalition, the commission, the events. What would you hope to see?
After this year, one would hope that you grow from all that you invested in this year. And that when you make plans and you develop and you set something into motion, I would hope that that would be the beginning of a new beginning. that we are walking on new territory. We are informed. We know where we are. We know where we need to go, and we're working toward that goal, because that's what you should be doing. When you have an opportunity to plan and map out and revisit your history and pay attention to all of the things that happened and set something in motion, I would hope that it was something that would be working, and we would be working toward developing, healing, helping our people get over. Like, because nothing happens right away. So this will be that year that we're identifying. But when we identify and we had these conversations, then hopefully you will find out that there's another narrative over here. Somebody's hurting from this. This is something that also happened that we don't know about. And this is something that happened that we don't know about. So then you can develop a complete understanding of everything and how it all came together, and then move forward. Because there are tiny pockets. Like, we all have silos. There's different stories over here, different stories over there. This is this. And once that comes together, then you can develop a full understanding of all that none of us knew. It all ends up like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that this was going on over in Washington State. Because there were people spread all over the world, and everybody had different things going on in their life. So I live in Philadelphia. We live in Philadelphia. Who knows what was going on across the other side of the nation? How they were impacted. But once you all start working on a common goal together in different pockets, and I'm hoping that the President's Commission will bring all of those things together. And Philadelphia is a part. We play a major part in the history of African American history and our 400 years in slavery and how it impacted us. We play a major part here. But there are other smaller pockets. And once you have an opportunity to bring that all together, just imagine what you'll learn.
So you talk about Philadelphia playing a part. Mm-hmm. I come to this website, mm-hmm. I see your video, mm-hmm. I watch your video. What would you have me do?
The value of a coalition is that people join in and they make themselves a part of it. This can only be valuable if everybody participates. That's across the board with everything that we do. My life, my paper, period. I'm only successful if I get people to participate and want to take part in and share and make the information. It has to spread. It can't just stay in this pocket. It just can't. It's ineffective if it just goes from you. If you look at the website and you stop, then I'm ineffective. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Everything that I'm supposed to do is supposed to ignite this little fire within inside you to find out a little bit more, even more than what I know. Because if I say something wrong, I want people to say, hey, you know what, you didn't know what you were talking about. So that continues the story, and it grows and it grows and it grows, and it impacts so many more people. This is only going to be effective if we get millions and millions and millions of people to understand what it is we're doing and why, and then they want to take place and they want to participate.